National Voters' Day has been celebrated on January 25th every year since 2011, all across the country to mark the foundation of Election Commission of India, that is 25th January 1950. The main purpose of the NVD celebration is to encourage, facilitate and maximize enrollment, especially for the new voters. While there are some who genuinely cast their vote, many people sit back and relax on voting day. The importance of voting is lost amongst the hustle and bustle of city life. While everyone sits and complains and making suggestions that government should change, the elections come and go without half of people paying attention. Voting is a constitutional right that we are privileged to have. The Constitution has given us the right to elect who we want and the right to make the change. Today, as a part of our Socio-Talks series conducted by NSS NIT Trichy, we have with us Mr. Vivek Atray, an ex-IAS, a motivational TEDx speaker, author of Finding Success Within, mentor, advisor, columnist and a visiting professor. He is the chairman of Yogananda Center of Theology, visiting professor at Shulini University, founder of Shivichar Think Tank, chairman of Public Relations Council of India, PRCI Chandigarh, impaneled with Speaking Minds International Speakers Bureau, member of Governors Advisory Council for Chandigarh, founder of Vibrant Networking Forum, Chandigarh Literary Society, and co-convener of Intact Chandigarh. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
We would love to hear you from him regarding the step towards voter empowerment.
Okay, so there are many steps that are important for voters' empowerment. And voters' empowerment is basically a very crucial facet of democracy, because democracy depends on the voter. And free and fearless voting. That means that I, as a citizen, you as a citizen, should be able to vote without any pressure, without any fear, without any care for what others think. I should vote according to what I feel. I should vote according to my merit-oriented thought process. Merit-oriented. I should not be swayed by something which is related to caste or creed or religion or something else. And even corrupt practices should not be possible in a democracy. Voter empowerment means that the voter is able to vote as per his or her heartfelt, mind-felt desire and wish, without any fear, without any pressure.
Voting is a fundamental act of civic participation through which young people can contribute to democracy. As a part of Indian Constitution, what do you think do the students need to remember before voting in our country?
As I said in my introductory remarks, it is very important that a voter votes according to merit. What is merit? When there is a selection process to a police department, engineering department, education department, IAS, state civil service, judiciary, that selection process should be merit oriented. That means all the merit rules, the decorum, the norms are followed. That means we vote we select these people as per their qualities, as per their merit. We are selecting representatives in a democracy, and we are voting for, let's say, the assembly election of a state, or the parliament elections of the country, or even the panchayat elections and the punch election and the lower level elections of a local level government. Then also we are supposed to be able to vote according to our heart and soul and mind. So what do students need to remember? They need to remember that they should not be swayed, they should not be influenced by what others think, even what their parents think. If a student feels that so-and-so candidate, so-and-so party has a good manifesto. What is a manifesto? A manifesto is a statement showing what all will the party do. They promise to do these things, manifesto. BJP, the Congress, the left parties, the other parties, they will all have a manifesto before them. So the voter has to see who is the candidate. Is the candidate of good reputation? He or she, will she do a good job? Will he do a good job for us constituency? And what is his manifesto or his party's manifesto? How is he or she going to tackle the issues which are facing my constituency, my village, my area, my town, my slum, whatever it is? So I have to be aware of the candidates. I have to be aware of the party's manifesto. I have to be aware of what I think very clearly before I go and vote. I cannot go and vote for somebody because my neighbor is voting for that person, because my friend is voting for that person, because my family is. Of course, family becomes more important because families normally discuss that we will vote for this person because we feel that he is good, she is good. It's okay to follow your family, but you should not be following others who are swaying or trying to pressurize you. So students need to remember before voting that they need to vote according to objective thought process, according to merit, according to facts, according to reputation, and not according to any other considerations. That is the answer.
That's really good to know, sir. The most obvious way to encourage youth vote is by education and spreading awareness. What are your views on this, sir?
Yeah, I think when an educated population is in the country, then the youth and others will vote according to sensible thought process. What is a sensible thought process? I am somebody who speaks a lot to the youth as a motivational speaker. So I really emphasize the education, and not only education by rote learning or by memorizing what is in the books, but by creative thinking, by becoming more of a achiever, understanding issues rather than just memorizing facts and figures. So when educated youth who are aware are able to vote because they are 18 years old now, they have been educated for 18 years or whatever it is, they started school at the age of 3. 15 years education by the time they reach 18. And 18 or 19 or 20, 21, 22, you are voting for the first time and you have been educated. So your awareness should be good and you will vote according to merit. So as I said, voting and democracy should depend on the merit of the candidate. And if the voter is educated, is aware, he or she is bound to vote according to merit. Of course, even educated people sometimes they fall prey, prey, prey to other considerations. So and so person, he helped me in the last this thing, or so and so belongs to my community. It's okay. To some extent, it's okay. But if I start voting on the basis of some corrupt practices or on the basis only of some religious preference or caste preference, then it becomes difficult. So I think education and awareness will ensure that the youth is voting according to merit. And that is why it's extremely important to have good education in our country so that we have good leadership coming out of the democratic process.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, as a motivational speaker, what do you think are the barriers that the students are struggling to overcome in their life? And what are your tips for today's youth to tackle all those barriers?
Yeah, this is a more general question and a very important question. I have many talks on my video channel, YouTube channel, which is Vivek Atray, Vivekatray. You can follow me on that. The thing is that I have been emphasizing the fact that the barriers which are there, they can be overcome by balance. That means by balanced determination. What is balance? Balance is basically the fact that you are not getting too much worried about one thing. You are an all-rounder. You are good at studies, good at sports, good at music, good at books, whatever. One or two things are important. Barriers that students typically face. Number one is parental pressure. Parents put a lot of pressure on them. And unfortunately, parents also are under pressure. So they feel, oh no, my child has to get into IIT, my child has to get into NIT. I am also from NIT, by the way. I'm from NIT Kurukshetra. And then people start pressurizing the students, their children, that you have to get into this, otherwise your life is going to be finished or you won't be doing well in life. How many people can get into IIT and NIT? Maybe 5%, maybe 2%, maybe 3% of the total people who are appearing. So we have to ensure that all the boys and girls, those who don't even get into these quality institutes, They are not under pressure. Life is a long journey. Motivational point that I can make right now is that life is a long journey. You don't have to worry. You have to be strong. If you didn't get into IIT, there's something else for you. So one of the barriers is parental pressure. Number two, competition is definitely a lot. So if competition is a lot, what do I have to do? What are the tips for tackling competition? Competition can be tackled by quality. If I am good, nobody can beat me. Nobody can put me down. Even if I may not be the topper of my class or even the 10th topper of my class, I may be a hard-working person. I may be a creative person. I may be industrious. I may have some kind of ideas which I can implement in my career. So I always say there are four types of careers: government jobs, private jobs, self-employed professional, and entrepreneurship. You are an entrepreneur, you can do so many things. Everybody cannot get into that IAS or IPS or IIT or IIM. So competition can be tackled by different ideas and plan A, plan B, plan C. I have many videos on this on social media. You can follow my Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you will find that. YouTube. Next point I'd like to say, third barrier, the major barrier which is there, is economic disparity. That means some students are from backgrounds which don't have that much of wherewithal, resources, send their children to the best schools. Education is not at the best level at the school level. Then how will they go forward? So students are struggling to overcome that problem of not being well off enough to study in a proper educational system. You know that there are many children who drop out after class 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 because they are not rich enough to get into school. Of course, the government has made schools free of cost in terms of fees, especially for girls in most of the states. The education is free till the 12th, past 12th. But children are not going to school even then. Many children are going into begging. Parents are putting them into labor. Parents are putting them into something else because they have problems at home. Girls' education, especially, is very important. But if we look at it, education can be successful even for a poor person in our country if the attitude is there. There are many examples of poor persons who did not have even a light to study, and they used to study under the street light. But they have succeeded. They are powerful. They are successful today. They are very happy. So it is hard work, encouragement, and government should do more to make sure that students are enrolled in schools, even if it is government schools, and the educational system in the government schools especially has to be improved. Okay, that's a big subject. I have also been director of school education in my IAS career. One of my postings was director of education, and it's a tough job, but one has to keep on improving. These are the barriers, and these are the solutions also I've given you for tackling these barriers so that.
So that's good to hear, sir. Sir, you have been a part of many women empowerment programs. Like, who is your women inspiration?
There are many women who have inspired me, and I think women have been a most important part of Indian society. You see, over the years, Indian women have held together Indian society because male-dominated societies have otherwise been, they have been oppressing the woman, suppressing the women, and they have not been able to. Women have not been able to study, not been able to do jobs over the years. Now today, at least there is some kind of parity, some equality, but it's still a long way to go. Women empowerment is suddenly needed in the next 10, 20 years. We should reach a stage where all women and men have equal opportunity and equal conditions. Why should a girl feel scared of leaving her home because somebody is eve teasing, somebody is ogling at her or whatever it is? Why should a woman have difficulty working in an office because people are not behaving properly? Women empowerment at every level is. If you look at my inspiration from women, definitely my mother, and she left long ago this earth, but I really feel inspired, and you'll be happy to know that today is her birth anniversary. My mother, Srimati Rama Atray, and it's her birthday today, and she would have been now, I think, she would have been about 75, 76 years old. And it is wonderful that I had the company of my mother for so many years, although not enough. Then I must say my daughters, I have two daughters, and my wife and I, we are so proud of them, so happy with them, and those have inspired me too. And my sisters, I have two sisters also, they have also inspired me. But in the public life, I must say Lata Mangeshkar, who is unfortunately unwell today, 90 years plus, and a great icon of India, Lata Mangeshkar. Then even sports people like PV Sindhu, such a wonderful badminton player who won a silver medal in one Olympics and a bronze medal in the next Olympics. Great icons of Indian society.
Sir, like in Indian population, there are like 138 crores. Like with such huge population, do you think the current thinking system of our country is more effective?
I think it is very difficult to give enough resources to the country if we have such a large population. What happens is that if our population was about half of what it is today, then the resources which we have are enough, because the natural resources of the country are quite a lot. The population being almost 140 crores is so much that there is hardly any proper distribution of wealth. Of course, today there is not that much poverty in India, but there is a lot of disparity and divide. Many people are rich and many people are poor. More are poor than rich. So the economic disparity is the key problem. And the current system of democracy is otherwise a good system. But we are not able to implement our schemes and plans for the benefit of the commonest man, the poorest man, the person on the ground. So if a scheme for employment of 18-year-olds or 20-year-olds or 21-year-olds is there for students who have done some vocational training, it should be implemented 100%. That means if 5 lakh students should benefit from that, then why should only 3 lakh benefit in actuality? So these 2 lakh people who could have benefited, they are left out. And then it is because of delays, because of time, because of some management issues. Government is a very difficult organization to move forward, but it works in its own pace. There are people who have benefited definitely from government schemes and policies. There are others who have not. So the system that we have currently is a good system. Government needs to work fast. Government systems in all state, district, block level need to be more efficient, more transparent, more active, proactive in the benefit for the benefit of the common man, common woman, common child. And begging and poverty and disparity and old malpractices, some oppression, some other things, they should be stopped. We have to have a better governed country. And we need to control our population also. If it is 138 crores, I read somewhere that it will peak at about 150, 160 crores perhaps, which is good. At least somewhere it is going to stop. But at some stage, we need to have proper family planning and proper policies so that there are not too many people in a country and everybody can live in comfort, reasonable comfort. He's saying that everybody should have a villa and an aeroplane and a 5-star hotel. Everybody cannot. So everybody should have 2 meals to eat, clean, hygienic, comfortable living conditions. That is something which is an aim. I think the system is okay. The thinking may be going up and down at times, and we need good people in the leadership roles. Leadership is the key. We have good leadership at the center, at the state, at the district, at the block level, then our country can move forward.
Yes, sir. Sir, as a citizen of India, what are the new rules you wish to implement on the Indian constitution and voting systems?
You see, the new rules, I would not have too many new rules, but whatever is required is a bit of, firstly, it would be ideal if the state and central elections could be held together. And this is a difficult one because many governments have talked about it. Every year we have elections somewhere. And that state goes into a limbo, goes into a paralysis mode for 3 months because elections are coming and this, that, and no, government will not really work in those 3 months. And also, so much money is spent on elections. Observers, police, polling booths, staff, transport, lots of food, this, that, whatever. It is very important that we simplify our election. That means our elections should not be so frequent, should not be so many, and maybe we can also have online voting. In many places, password-enabled voting can be done, and in Finland and other countries they do it. So then we don't have to have that queue outside the booth. And if we have hybrid also, that means that those who cannot afford or don't know how to vote online, they can be allowed to visit the booth. Others can vote from home. I believe about 50% of India will probably be able to vote like. Because even in a village, there is somebody who can help those people vote. Of course, there may be malpractices in that also, but it is happening in other countries and we should explore that. Another rule could be that anybody who is disqualified from elections and has come back and should not be eligible, that person should be strictly dealt with, not allow people to contest elections if they are forbidden by the rules, and the rules should be implemented very carefully, properly. And it is also important that we get younger people into the election process, although we don't have rules for it. It is important to encourage younger people to contest elections, be prepared for elections, and leadership should also be trained. I feel political leaders should also have training that will help the country. Why should only officers have training? Politicians should also be trained. Their service, whatever they do, even for 5 years if they come, they should be trained for that. That is another. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing us with your views on voting system, sir. Ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. Every vote counts. Though it seems like an endless sea of people are there to vote, when the national attitude changes from thinking, my vote doesn't make a difference, then the number increases and the multitude of voting will make the difference. The responsibility lies on every youth in our nation. Once again, thank you, sir, for spending your precious time with us and for motivating us. Thank you, sir.
I would like to just say at the end that it is a pleasure for me to talk to you all students. And I have been to NIT Trichy myself about 3 years ago on the invitation of your senior batches. And it was a wonderful event, I remember. I would like to extend a welcome and request all of you to be connected with me on various social media, Instagram, LinkedIn. I am very happy to answer questions from anybody. If you text me and send me a message in social media, I am basically engaged in encouraging the youth of India, and I will be happy to help all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.